Okay, welcome back for Unit 4 on classes. There'll be several parts videos. There'll be 7 videos for this chapter. But we're going to start talking about classes. So I'm going to go up here to File. I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to create a main class first. Okay. So go ahead and give a name. And I'm going to just call this one Unit 4 to start off with. Okay. And I have it going to my folder here, and I hit finish, and Unit 4 is now created. I'm going to just delete some of the comments so they don't interfere with us. I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I have basic format of a class, and class Unit 4. Here's my public static void main. So next, I'm going to create another class. I'm going to come up here and hit File, New, File, and I'm going to create a class. And notice I'm coming up here and I'm picking Java class. You can only have one main class. The main class is like the conductor. It controls all your other classes and objects. So I'm going to hit Next, and I'm going to call this one Student. Okay, and I'm going to hit Finish. I'm going to hit Yes to replace it. Again, I'm getting rid of some of the comments that's out of the way. And notice I have public class student, begin symbol, and notice this begin symbol matches with this end symbol. And I have another public student. Okay, this is called a constructor. A constructor always have the same name as the class, which is the same name as the file. Okay. And the constructor, you can have many constructors as you want. This is known as the default constructor. But I'll get into that a little bit later. So let's talk about fields. Okay, the class is broken up into 3 parts. You have your fields, you have your constructors, and then you have basically your methods. Okay, so you could think of a class having 3 parts. Okay. So I'll scroll down here, and again you could think I probably have to put my pen on. So if I had a class here, three parts to a class. Okay, you have your fields. You have your constructors, and then you have your methods. Okay, and you could think of your method broken down into other parts. There are actually more parts to methods. So there are your accessor methods, there are your mutator methods, there are your helper methods, and then you have regular methods. So methods are broken down into like 4 parts. Hopefully this video we can concentrate on fields and constructors, and then we'll talk about methods a little bit later. So let's get back to fields. Fields are basically our data type. Okay. And up here in the fields, I could go ahead and go private. And we call it private because we don't want the main program to have access to these. Okay, remember our main program is called unit4.java, and I don't want anything in unit 4 to go ahead and call that field. Okay, so I'm giving it private, and the first thing I'm going to do is called string, because most students have a name, and I'm going to call it my name. Okay. And I'm also going to create another one called private. And again, 90%, 99% of the fields are usually private. And we go private int, and I call it my age, comma, maybe they have an ID, so we'll call it my ID. Students might have a QPA, so we'll go private double my QPA. Now you don't really have to use my QPA, my ID. You don't have to use the word my. I like doing that because it tells me I'm dealing with variables in my class. We try to stay away from using the same variable name. So when I see my name, I'm talking about the objects field. Instead of, say, if I put name here and I'm using name in main and I'm passing name over to my class and I want to put name equal name, then the compiler will get confused. But there's a way around that. We'll talk about that later. But try to establish good habits. So I'm going to use my name, my age, my ID, my QPA. Okay, and these are fields. Okay, I cannot access those. Okay, so over here, if I go student, we'll call it Bob. That's my object's name. Now Bob is the object, equals new student. What I did was create a student called Bob. And what that looks like, let's get back to my drawing over here. So what happens is I created Bob in let's try to scroll up here. And notice Bob actually points to here. Notice that everything in this class is also in Bob. So Bob has my age, my ID, my QPA, my name. Okay. If I would create Kim, well, Kim will have my age, my ID, my QPA, my name. Okay. So no matter how many objects I create of class students, they will all have the same data types. Okay. Same memory locations. And Bob actually points to this object. Okay, so whenever you think of Bob, Bob actually holds the address of this object. Okay, so those are fields, and these are called global because they exist throughout the entire program. That means I could gain access to these fields from my methods. Okay, and these are called global fields, and they exist from the begin to the end of the class. So since I declared them, let's take a look at students. From here, from this begin to this end, my name exists, my age exists, my ID exists, my QPA exists. Okay. So let's talk about constructors. Okay. You can have several constructors. This is a default constructor, and it basically sets all your fields to their default values. Now, if it's an integer or double or any other numeric type, data type, it's either 0 or 0.0. So double will be 0.0. Integers will be just zeros. If it's a string or any other type of object, it's called a null. So my name right now has a value of null. Okay, N-U-L-L. And if it's Boolean, it's set to false. Those are the default values. And that's the purpose of the default constructor. But you can have many constructors, and I'm going to go ahead and create another constructor, public student, and I'm going to go string name. I'm thinking call one name, and I'm going to go ahead and put begin, and what I'm going to do is go my name equals name. Okay. So when I create an object and I call this constructor, only one of these constructors will run. You can have many constructors, but only one will run. It knows to run this one because it's taken in one value for the parameter list, which is a string. So I'm going to just do a little test here. You really don't want to use system.out.prints inside of constructors, but just to show you what happens. Okay, so we're going to just output my name. Okay, so when I come over here and I go student, and we'll call this one Kim equals new student. And I'm putting Kim this time this actually calls the constructor that takes in a string. Okay, so since this is a string, it's going to look for the constructor in student that takes in a string. So it's going to run this one here. Okay, so first I got to build this, and it's expecting a semicolon right here. Okay, so you always have to build it, and then go to your other one and build it as well. Okay, and then you can go run it, and notice Kim is outputted. So Bob was created, Kim is created. It says go ahead and run this constructor that takes in Kim. So this one runs. Name, which is Kim, gets assigned to my name, and I output my name, and notice Kim was outputted. Okay, so we could keep doing this. Let's create another constructor. Public student, and this time we're doing string name, and let's put in age. Okay, and again we're going to go ahead and say my name equals name, and my age equals age. Okay, so again, you have to build it. They have to be in the same folder for it to find it. Let's go back to Unit 4, and let's create another student. Student, and I want to call this one Sue equals new student. And I'm going to call this one Sue as well. I can't remember, did I put a print over here? No, I didn't. So this time I'm going to print. I'm going to do a system dot out dot print. I'll go line. And I'm going to print out my name plus my age. Okay. I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to try to speed it up here. So I'm going to go ahead and print out my name and my age. Okay, so let's go ahead and we got to build this since I made changes to it. And it says I can't find the symbol. And oops, I spelled my name with a small n. Okay, so that worked. Let's go over here to units here, and I created Sue, and I'm also passing in Sue. I'm going to pass in I'm going to put comma, and I'm going to pass in 18 because Sue is 18 years old. And I'm going to go ahead and build this and run this. And notice Kim and Sue 18 is outputted. Okay, and so this one runs the first constructor, the second one actually, not the default constructor, but the second one. Bob runs the default constructor. Okay, Kim runs this. So let's just do an experiment with Kim. I got like 2 minutes left. Let's go over here to Kim and go system. Again, you shouldn't be printing from your constructors. It's mainly just to show you what's in their memory location. So let's put my age. Okay, and since Kim is calling this one, we're outputting my age. We didn't assign my age to anything, so it should have a default value in it. So go build. That's good. And we come over here and we can hit run project. And notice Kim is 0 and Sue is 18. Remember, we passed Kim only, we didn't pass an age in, so it's at the default value of 0. And Sue, we pass in the name and 18. So that's how constructor works and fields work. Constructors are basically to set up your fields, give them starting values. and filter your memory locations of the class. The next video we'll talk about methods. Have a nice day. Continue programming. Enjoy.